Good evening. I'm Jan Kowalski McDonald with Greenslate I Incorporated, and you're live on Interactive TV with CAN TV, Channel 21. We're also streaming online at cantv.org/hotline. And tonight we're going to be discussing my favorite topic, which is politics in Chicago. And of course, this is a live interactive show, so please call the number at your bottom of your screen so we can get your input. You know, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, the number should be 312-738-1060. But before we start talking about Chicago politics, let me tell you a little bit about myself and Greenslate. My sponsor is Greenslate I Incorporated. Greenslate I is a not-for-profit entity, and their programs are designed to assist ex-convicts. They have any number of programs, including Feeding the Families of Inglewood. They have a Kirby's Kids Camp for children in the summertime. They also have a community service. They're an authorized community service provider through the Circuit Court of Cook County. So if you need to fulfill any community service hours, by all means, contact Greenslate I Incorporated. Let me give you their information here. That's a little too small. Maybe I could zoom that for you. All right, maybe I can't. Let's try this one. There we go. You can reach Greenslate at P.O. Box 378744. And of course, that's in Chicago, Illinois, 60637. Phone number is 217-600-1846. And their website is Greenslate Institute, the number 4, justice.weebly.com. And their email is greenslateinstitute, the number 4, justice @gmail.com. And I know I said that really fast, so if you didn't catch it, by all means, call the number at the bottom of your screen, and Pookie's going to let you know the contact information for Greenslate. And of course, I'm Jan Kowalski McDonald. There I am. And for those people who are not familiar with Polish surnames, that's Kowalski. And of course, there's my picture of my coal and my nice brick wall, and followed by my pair of skis. Put them together, coal, wall, and skis, you get Kowalski. And of course, here's my little buddy, isn't he cute? There's my little koala bear, and he's giving you a thumbs up. There you go, thumbs up, because he's my little koala on skis, because of course I'm Kowalski. And I know you're all dying to call me Jan Kawasaki. No, it's not Kawasaki, it's Kowalski. And to once again help you, here's my little koala again to let you know that I am 100% qualified. So again, if you missed the contact information for Greenslate, please contact Pookie, who's on the switchboard now, 312-738-1060. So let's start talking about politics. I know the city was rocked this week when we found out that longtime Mayor Rahm Emanuel decided not to run. I mean, if I had a crystal ball, I don't think I would have figured that out. I think everyone's got kind of shocked that Mayor Emanuel decided not to run. I haven't heard why, but I suspect Chicago politics. But right now, as far as we know, there's 12 contenders that have thrown their hat in the ring for the Chicago mayoral position. And let me just run down what I'm going to call the dirty dozen because of the 12 candidates for Chicago mayor. The first one is Dorothy Brown. Let me see if I can give you a picture here of Dorothy Brown. Everybody probably knows. Oh, that's way too small. Let me go a little, nope, let me zoom in a whole bunch there. There we go. There's a picture of Dorothy Brown. And of course, Dorothy Brown is our current acting Cook County clerk of the Circuit Court. And of course, she's running for Chicago mayor. And it's not the first time. She ran for mayor against Richard M. Daley in 2007. So it's not her first time throwing her hat in the ring. And of course, Dorothy right now runs the Circuit Court of Cook County. So that's our first of our dirty dozen. The second one here is, here we go, and I hope I pronounce this right, so bear with me if I don't. Her name is Amara Enya, and I hope I said that right. She's the director of the Austin Chamber of Commerce, and she's 35, lives in Garfield Park. And she's Nigerian and one of 6 children. And she also ran in the 2015 mayoral race. She's throwing her hat in again. And she is a lawyer. She's a journalist. She's got a master's degree in education, a law degree, and also a doctorate in educational policy. So that's Amara Enya. Now, my favorite candidate right now is Jamal Green. And Jamal Green And let me tell you a little bit about him. He was supposed to be a guest today, but unfortunately he got delayed. So I'm hoping that we can book him for next week. Mr. Green is also a Chicago native and a product of the Chicago Public Schools and the father of 2 boys. He's an entrepreneur and a progressive advocate whose efforts have reached national and international audiences. He's the founder of Majesty, Majoste, All Stars, which is a non-for-profit here at our non-for-profit. We appreciate a non-for-profit that tries to empower underprivileged youth. And additionally, Green was handpicked by Bernie Sanders to serve as the official surrogate during the senator's 2016 presidential campaign. And he's dedicated his time to improving the quality of life for all Chicago residents. And of course, as a candidate, he believes he's the person that can guide Chicago to a better future. So let's hope Mr. Green can join us next week. Now, let me just move on. So that's number 3 in our Dirty Dozen. So far we've got Dorothy Brown, Amara Enya, Jamal Green. And now this is interesting. Now, and I'm quoting from a Chicago Tribune article that I read. Right? We've got Jeremiah Joyce, who is a lawyer and the son of a Daily Ally. But the interesting thing is, and again, this is from the Chicago Tribune, is that he's not officially declared he's a candidate, but yet the Chicago Tribune is reporting that he's one of our Dirty Dozen here. The next candidate we have is, again, another lawyer here. This one is John Kozlar, and he's a lawyer and a former city council candidate. And he already ran for alderman in 2011 and again in 2015. And he forced Alderman Patrick Daley Thompson into a runoff. Let me back to me there. There I am. So that's John Kozlar. I think that's number, hold on, I'm losing track of my numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 5 in our Dirty Dozen. And of course, here, let me continue. Bear with me here. We've got other candidates include Troy LaRiviere, and I'm trying my best here, people. Troy LaRiviere, and he's a former Chicago Public School principal, and he was a vocal opponent to Mayor Emanuel's top-down approach to education. But now that Mayor Emanuel's not running, I don't know what other portions of his platform are. But of course, Mr. LaRiviere, if you want to be on the show, you're all welcome. We'd love to have all candidates here to address the citizens as to their views on their stance and their political platforms. And then, of course, we've got another candidate who's Lori Lightfoot. And Lori Lightfoot was tasked with co-chairing a police reform panel to form recommendations amid the Laquan McDonald case. And of course, she is the openly gay, and she would be the first African-American woman if she were to be elected. Well, so would Dorothy Brown, obviously. But so that's Lori Lightfoot. And then we have, everyone knows this is Gary McCarthy. He's our former Chicago police superintendent. He's a native New Yorker, and I believe he was also formerly from the Boston Police Department. He is running for Chicago mayor. Then we have this one I found really interesting, is Matthew Roney, R-O-N-E-Y, and he's a pharmaceutical technician and a DePaul student. And I love this candidate just because he is a thinker and a believer. You know, it's so nice to see young people that want to become involved in politics that have got the ideas. So let me show a couple of our other ones. We have Neil Sales Griffin, and he's a tech entrepreneur, and apparently when he announced his mayoral candidacy in April of this year, it didn't go well. But still, he is he's the CEO for Code Now organization, and that's a New York-based not-for-profit. And then we have Paul Vallas here, Vallas, V-A-L-L-A-S. He's a former CEO of the Chicago Public Schools and the one-time city budget director. That's Mr. Vallas, and I've also invited him to appear on the show. And I'm not sure what his platform is. Obviously, he wants to reform schools, but other than that, I've got no idea what his stance is. And last but not least of our Dirty Dozen here is, and this is Willie Wilson. And of course, he's the current owner of a medical supplies company, and he formerly owned several McDonald's. And I just love Willie Wilson just because he is a great civil philanthropist, and he donates a lot of his funds to help a lot of people, like pay property taxes. He's also reported to have posted bond for any number of people trying to get out of jail. And of course, at Greenslate, we appreciate someone that's willing to put up their own funds to bond out somebody else. So I'm dying to know what your thoughts are for our Dirty Dozen. And if you wanted to call in, give me some input who you think should be the next mayor of Chicago and why, please call the number at the bottom of your screen. That's 312-738-1060. And hopefully next week, Jamal Green can be on the show. I know that he canceled, unfortunately, at the very last minute, but we'd love to have him on the show. He's got some interesting thoughts that I'd like to share with you. His platform has got 3 pillars that underpin his platform here. The first one is to create inclusive communities. And at first I was like, well, what does inclusive communities mean? And apparently it's to invest in neighborhood schools, creating jobs and sustaining businesses, who could argue with that, and have access to affordable housing. And then this one I thought was interesting is construct wellness centers. So they're not necessarily triage kind of emergency rooms, they're wellness centers. And what a great idea. We need someone who's a good thinker. Hey caller, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns about our mayoral election?
Hello?
Hello, yes. Do you have any comments about the Chicago's mayoral election?
Yes, I do. I want to comment about the mayor, the candidate, yes.
And what's your comment?
I'm on. Yes.
You're on.
I feel, my best candidate would be Willie Wilson.
Oh.
Yes, because he's a businessman. He was not a politician. And he have done so much for years to help people donate his own money. And he just really is so honest.
Well, what I was concerned about is that the Chicago Tribune, in this article I read, had him quoted as saying, I don't know if this is true or not, they quoted him as saying, I'm tired of white people telling me what to do. I don't know if that's an accurate statement or not, but I was kind of alarmed by somebody saying that.
Well, he's tired of people telling him what to do with his money. So whoever or whatever that is, I'm sure he quoted that. If he said it, he quoted it. And, it's his money. He should be able to do whatever he wants with his money.
That's right.
As I mentioned, he has been donating for years to help churches, homeless people. He has done so much for years. If anybody know anything about that man, they would know all the years he have been doing this, not because he's running for mayor. He was doing it on his own for years.
Well, let me ask you, I heard in the news that I guess our Attorney General was going after him because they didn't like how he was giving away his money. What do you think of that one?
Exactly, and that's what he told them. I'm tired of people telling me how to spend my money. And so he cleared that.
Well, caller, I understand having a successful businessman at the helm is a great idea, and I can certainly understand that. But what about the concerns about the social programs, reforming the police, property taxes?
Right. He like I said, he pays people property taxes. The old people, the senior citizen people, he trying to get them to ride free on the bus.
Yes, and that's a great idea.
Red light cameras.
Yes, fantastic.
Yes.
Caller, thank you. I appreciate you calling in. I think he's going to be a great candidate, too. I can't wait to hear more about him. I think, Pookie, do we have another caller? Hello, caller? Do you have a comment or question?
And yes, and
hi, Stephen. How are you?
How you doing, sweetheart?
All right. What do you think of the Chicago mayoral election?
Hold it. First of all, I was so busy last week, I didn't get a chance. I'll tell you how nice you was looking.
Oh.
You keep it up, you're going to be okay. Now, let's get to what you...
I still haven't gotten a date, Stephen. I'm working on it.
Well, don't worry, it will come.
It'll come. You keep telling me it'll come. I'm still waiting.
It will come.
All right. What do you think of politics?
Yes. Hey, first of all, I also read the Sun-Times in the Trib this morning, and the Sun-Times had an article, I think it was about 40 candidates possibly.
Oh, 40?
That's going to be running. Now, getting to the last call, and listen, sweetheart, I'm not getting on you. There's nothing wrong with your choice of who you wanted. But one thing you said was he's a businessman. Well, we got a big fool at the top of the heap is a businessman, and that's Donald Duck. And look what he has done. He's not a politician. But again, let me tell you something. I think too many candidates are very bad. Then that means a runoff. And my God, it's just entirely too many people. It should be limited. Now, also going back to Willie Wilson, I don't know, it just stuck a crawl in me. I think it's not right to be paying people, and you're in the church, paying people.
Oh, Steve, I think we're losing you there. Paying people in the church? I'm not following.
Well, I mean, it was all done in the church. Listen, that's another call on the line.
No, Stephen, I'm sorry. I think that we just lost your reception there. I'm dying to know.
Hold on. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, I ain't seen a commercial. The young lady said, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to bring my mother, my father, my sister, kids on the block, and everybody. If someone's giving you money, it seems like you're buying
votes.
And I think that is is a funny situation. We have a lady, Dorothy Brown. She was being accused of paying to play, to move up on a job. A lot of things is part of the game, but it makes it look like you paying for votes. You could do anything you want with your money.
That's not democratic.
If that's what he wanted to do, you could have went to the rooftop and dropped some money down. I don't,
Yeah, really.
But to have people
Well, Stephen, now that you bring that up, let me share something that was a little strange that happened. My son, believe it or not, I'm his guardian, and we had to get his driver's license, and because he had no tickets, we could do it online. So, and then they mail you your license. So out comes the license in an envelope. The very next day comes a letter, and it's Citizens for JB. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me open it. So I open the Citizens for JB envelope, and inside is a letter from the desk of Jesse White, congratulating him on getting his license and having a good driving record, and inviting him that he should be filling out this absentee ballot. And then they attached an absentee ballot for the Illinois Democratic voters. And believe it or not, Stephen, I found that to be so offensive. Because number one, JB's got Jesse White sending my son a letter, and the only reason my son's getting a letter from Jesse White is because he got his driver's license in the mail from. So I don't know how they're getting. I don't appreciate Jesse White, who's a sitting, state official, elected official, sending letters that look official. Using the state voters database that he gets from the voter motor registration, and it just seemed a little hinky, especially since the letter directed apparently to get a Democratic ballot.
Right.
I mean, luckily my son's a Democrat, but at the same time, I'm like, well, wait a minute, what if he's not a Democrat? The whole thing just kind of smelled bad to me.
That's old-time politics. Look, you go back and look at the old man Daley. I mean, this goes back a long way. Let me tell you, back in the day, precinct captains were precinct captains.
Yeah.
I mean, they come by your house, they talk to you, you knew them.
Exactly, but I don't find that offensive, not at all.
Yeah, but again, politics is very different than it was back in the day. But now it's a little bit different. But sometimes you still battling what to me is illegally. That's just like saying you running for office, but you go pay a person that's addicted to drugs. Here's somebody go get your bag, but come back and vote for me.
And come back and vote. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be right.
That's the only thing. Listen, sweetheart, I don't want to hog this
we do have another caller. Thank you, Stephen.
Right,
Okay, we have another caller. Caller, do you have a comment or question about our Chicago mayoral race?
Well, hiya, Carla.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
How you doing tonight?
Well, what do you think of the Chicago mayoral race? What do you think?
I think we're going to give that McCarthy a little chance there.
Paula, I invited him to be on the show. Unfortunately, he was booked, but I'm hoping to get him on.
Keep trying. He might do us good. Here.
But wait. Paula, let me tell you this. I think he's got an East Coast accent.
It's okay. New York is
No, you know what? Believe it or not, I find it offensive. Believe it or not, I'm a Bears fan. I've been a lifelong Bears fan. The Bears, those guys over there. You know, I'm a South Sider from Garfield Ridge. You know what? I don't appreciate a Pac the Car kind of guy. No, it's the Bears.
Well,
and I mean, I love him dearly, great guy, but at the same time, do I want a mayor that talks like he's from Boston?
Absolutely. Well, here, you asked...
I know, that's so... I have nothing to do with his qualifications, but I'm up here.
Right, absolutely. You asked a question a little while ago why the Kennedy Expressway was shut down.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
I am absolutely 2 blocks away from there. That's where I live. And Reverend Livingston came. They came at the beginning of the Kennedy Expressway to try to get and do their little march like they did on the 95th Dan Ryan.
And what happened?
And it didn't work. And the Reverend was gracefully arrested and a few other white Caucasian people.
Oh, no
and the
kidding.
reason why they had that is because they've been asking for all 4 marches for Emmanuel to step down and Mr. Eddie Johnson. Okay, they stepped down the very next day. He won.
That was kind of interesting, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And the reason why he stepped down, he aroused the public, he didn't help with the schools, he hasn't done anything, and now he stepped down.
Well, let me ask you, Paula, since you're a longtime Chicago resident, do you think some secret deal was made on this one? Because I'm wondering, it's like, that happens, he then announces he's not, running again. Do you think there's been some secret deal made that we all don't know about?
Well, listen, it's
Chicago
not an easy
politics.
city to run. This ain't an easy city to run.
That's
You
true.
got all kinds of problems, and people are never happy who's in office. Pretty much was the best one was Washington and the Daley family. Once they got up and these bozos got in there, we're all upside down. Now, the mayor stepped down gracefully. He got out. I hope Johnson doesn't step down because he's a hell of a guy. He tries to do the best he can. Boy, can't get any better than that guy. All right, now we got
Paula,
rid of
you
this
need
mayor.
somebody that's going to be mayor that does more than just know Chicago
Well,
police.
listen,
It's the same thing with Vallis. Vallis knows
the
Chicago
right way.
schools, okay? But
Listen.
can we find a candidate that's got both the
Listen.
police and the schools, and also has a platform where it deals with property taxes, with like rent?
That's why I like the McCarthy guy, because Emmanuel fired him. Emmanuel fired him. Now, if he comes back and be the mayor, he knows a little bit about Chicago. He knows the school system's all screwed up. He knows everybody's shooting everybody and another baby got shot today. Then he's New York style and Chicago style.
Well, hold on. You know,
Give the
Paula,
guy a
the
chance.
Tribune quoted
Gotta give him a
that
chance.
McCarthy, even though he criticizes
I
Emmanuel,
know.
apparently,
Everybody's
according to the
got fault.
Tribune, that McCarthy's been taking some interesting campaign donations from
Well,
3
listen, I'll
donors.
take campaign
One who
donations.
pled guilty to a bribery charge.
Well,
Another was donors is
Well,
facing
how about-
fraud allegations for a fixed contract
Well,
at McCormick Place. And the
I hate
last
to
one is
say
the
it.
venture capital firm that the Daley administration borrowed money to
listen.
that apparently didn't repay the $21 million in taxpayer money. So these are the major donators that are funding the McCarthy campaign. So I'm dying to know what you think about that. Oh, I think we lost you there, Paula.
Everybody puts
Oh, wait, there
their
you are,
hands
Paula.
in the
What do you
kitchen.
think of those campaign donations from questionable
They
sources?
gotta come from somewhere. You gotta donate to somebody.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
if
they'll
it's
put the money on the side and get somebody in there that can help us, that knows what the heck to take care of Chicago and stop all these killings. My God, that's number one. And to me, I like Dorothy Brown. You had her on your show. She looks like a little sweetheart, but she had her hand in a cookie jar too. They all do. That's
well, that
politics.
concerns me
And
because
it's got
there have
nothing
been
to-
allegations that Dorothy
that's got
Brown
nothing-
is incompetently running her office. So the concern is that if you're incompetently running your office, how can you competently run the city? But this is going to be an interesting political season, and I'm dying to know what's going to happen. It's a great story, and I'm delighted that Emmanuel chose not to run. But I am concerned, as Stephen said, about having too many candidates and it just being such a fracturing of the vote that it might not accurately reflect the real voting of the populace here. But thank you for watching and participating in today's show. And of course, I'm Jan Kowalski-McDonald with Greenslate I. And tonight we've been discussing the Chicago mayoral election. And tonight my technician has been Pookie. My executive producer has been Ziv Sistrunk. And thank you and have a good night.